Hello, that's Slingshot Guy here. This is an updated review on the Ka-bar Slingshot. Now, I did a Slingshot review a little while ago, which was based on the unwrapping of this Slingshot and my first impressions overall of the Slingshot itself. Now, if I remember correctly, I talked about the sharp edges on it, and basically, given the way it was right there in the packaging, I gave it, I think it was about a 4 out of 10 overall because of the sharp edges. Now, I'll agree that this Slingshot frame is a very nice, good, solid frame. It definitely has a nice, good feel to it. And although the way that they advertise and teach in their little booklet, although it teaches you to hold like this, which is not very comfortable for me personally, I like to choke up on it and hold it sideways, holding it like this. But, you know, to each their own, as they say. But the Slingshot frame itself had some really sharp edges on it. There was the seam all the way around, had a lip. There was a sharp edge on each tip of the fork on the outside edge. And there was a, right there, the tip of my finger was a really big, sharp point. Very solid, sharp point. Not necessarily enough to give me blood, but definitely give me a good scratch if you're, unsuspecting. And also from the where they did the molds, I'm not sure how well you can see it, but there's like the little circles there. There's one there, and like another one like right there. You can't really see it on camera too well, but there's a lot of sharp edges. Not just sharp edges, little lips there. Not necessarily enough for a good scratch, but overall with the way it was. And then of course there's the tube bands that it came with. The tube bands themselves, the tubes by themselves was of decent quality, but they weren't tied on very well. They were definitely loose, and the ties weren't very tight. After a couple of pulls, it definitely would have slipped. Now, I retied the tubes in the same fashion, but just made them more tighter. And when I draw back, it wasn't long enough for my draw length. So therefore, they're not very good for me. I did keep the tubes though. The tubes are still, I'm just untied the tubes. I'll probably use it in the future for my little wristband slingshot. But in the meantime, I replaced it with a flat bands. This particular one came with as a spare with one of my Simple Shot slingshots. So this one was actually made by the Simple Shot manufacturer. The great thing about this slingshot is despite the fact that they provide tube bands, they still have the grooves, as you can see, both vertical and horizontal. So that way you can tie on your own flat band set yourself, which is a good thing. It's nice to see that they thought of that. And with the space between the forks, you could definitely tell that this is definitely for beginners, or not even just beginners, but for people who don't shoot very often. Could just take this out and just shoot around for fun. So, as I said, with the sharp edges, what I did was I took my Leatherman Wave Plus multi-tool. It has a file that's on it. And I just simply gave it a nice cleanup all the way around the slingshot, took all those sharp edges off, took that really ugly sharp point that was on the handle there right off, cleaned everything off, smoothed it all down, even took a little bit of sanding paper to it, just in case. Sorry, I just put my multi-tool back in my pocket. And once all those edges were smoothed out, I even took the time to smooth off this point and this point just a little bit. They're still pointed, but they're rounded off, so there's no sharp lip there anymore. But all in all, I said at the time of my old video, I said that if none of these imperfections were there, I would definitely give this a solid 8 out of 10. And right now, looking at it now, definitely the same thing as I said. Right now, I'm rating this about 8 out of 10 for the Ka-bar. I hope that if Ka-bar makes more slingshots, I'm hoping that they take all these little considerations into play, because of the fact that I did speak with a lot of people on both YouTube as well as on Facebook, Slingshot Facebook groups, and a lot of people said the exact same thing. So this is not just one in a million type of thing with these sharp edges. a lot of people got a lot of these lips and sharp edges and points on it that they had to file down and clean up and whatnot. Some people are just decided just to avoid it completely and not bother with the slingshot. But if you do go for it, expect those lips and sharp edges on it, in which case you just gotta file it off or sand it down. But once those edges are gone, I give this definitely a solid 8 out of 10 with the flat bands on here. It shoots really nicely. Fortunately, I don't have a target with me today to shoot at. I do have my slingshot ammo. I'm gonna shoot off a round or two here. So it shoots really nicely. It's, like I said, it's a nice solid frame. The band set is from Simple Shot. You can either make your own band sets or you can purchase something else. But if you are going to use the 2 band sets that came with the slingshot originally, I recommend that you do a thorough check of the bands and even take the time to tie the bands on a lot more tighter than what they are. The pouch was not bad in quality. Not perfect, but not bad either. You can still use it. So, this is 3/8 steel ammo, by the way. Not sure how well you heard that. Hit the tree in the distance. So all in all, this is definitely good for beginners as well as people who are, just going to take it out for an afternoon when they're out on a hike or whatever, just for a couple of little shots and stuff. It's more of a beginner level slingshot, but if you are, intermediate or even expert level, still go for it. There's nothing wrong with shooting this kind of slingshot, no matter what. I do find that with this bigger space between the forks, I have to adjust my elevation when aiming a little bit, but not too bad overall. So, Ka-bar, made in USA. Yeah, it's a pretty good slingshot. It's not bad. It after all the imperfections are gone, it's a nice, good, solid frame. Got a nice band set on there. Shoots really nicely. I like it. So 8 out of 10. So that's that slingshot guy here. Stay safe. Have fun.